So we've recently been looking at 32-bit float audio recorders here on the channel, and one of the most popular of these which we sell is actually not even made by a traditional audio company. This is the Track-E recorder by Tentacle Sync, which is the first audio recorder of any kind from a company that to this point has only made timecode sync products. So why, you might be thinking, has this become one of our best-selling 32-bit float audio recorders? Well, it's all because of that timecode technology. The Track-E is essentially just a version of their Sync-E timecode unit, but with an audio recorder built into it. This means you can fit one of these seamlessly into their timecode workflow, put a Sync-E on each camera and a Track-E in each subject's pocket, and you can effortlessly sync them all together and be recording in glorious 32-bit float audio. This system is really all about the Tentacle Setup app. It makes it incredibly simple to control multiple units. So no matter how many cameras you have or how many recorders you have running at once, you can keep them all perfectly in sync. We just have two here, but you can add as many as you like, and with one button, sync them all together. Then when you bring them into either your video editing software or Timecode Sync's own Sync Studio software, all of the camera clips and all of the audio files will have matching timecode. No need for scratch audio to sync them up or anything like that. Now this is really what sets the Track-E recorder apart from every other 32-bit float recorder we sell. All of the other recorders on the market, like the very similar actually Zoom F2 for example, are fantastic 32-bit float audio recorders which you can then add some timecode products to in order to sync by timecode if you want to work that way. The Track-E is the other way around. It's a version of Tentacle's timecode system that happens to have a 32-bit float audio recorder built into it. So if you're already using Tentacle Syncs for your timecode syncing, it's a very easy decision to go for one of these over any other recorder on the market. But if you're starting from scratch, or you normally simply record into the camera directly, then the decision is a bit more complicated which ones to go for. My normal advice to customers is to look at the main types of work you do. If it's mostly simple 1 or 2 camera interviews, or a bit like our Pacer cameras here on this channel for example, then you can pretty much use whichever recorder you want, and something like the Zoom F2 that I'm actually recording on right now is going to be one of the simplest and cheapest ways to get 32-bit float audio. You can just record scratch audio into your cameras and then sync using your waveforms in post. It's pretty fast. If you regularly though need to use more than one audio recorder, so if you have multiple people speaking at once for example, or if you use several cameras most of the time for a multi-camera environment, then using a timecode workflow is going to make your life much easier. And if you want to use 32-bit float audio inside a timecode workflow, the Tentacle Sync system is definitely the way to go. Before we wrap up, let's quickly go over the physical aspects of the Track-E. It's a very simple device really, and it comes with its own lav mic, but you can of course use any that you want. There's a locking microphone in socket on the top and then a headphone port next to it. Then on the front are some status LEDs and this nice coloured band that you can swap out to colour code your devices. The main status light goes silver when it's on and then blinks blue when it's connected to the app. It also shows when you're recording by turning red and when you're playing back clips by going green. There's then a row of LEDs beneath this which show you your audio levels. They're green normally, yellow when your limiter kicks in if you have that enabled, and red when the mic input is clipping. They also flash yellow when your battery is low and flash red when there's no card to actually record onto. On the left hand side is your micro SD card slot, and on the right hand side is the only physical control on the entire unit. You pull this switch down to turn the unit on or off, and you pull it up to start or stop recording. Most people though, I imagine, will be starting and stopping recording from the actual app interface itself, because you have to be in the app anyway in order to sync your devices together, so you might as well start and stop your recording while you're there as well. At the bottom of the unit is a USB-C port. This is where you charge the built-in battery and where you can connect it to a computer to offload your files. Now, whether you prefer a built-in battery or not is really down to personal preference, but personally I prefer to be able to bring spare batteries that I know are charged to a shoot. Having a built-in battery like this can become a bit of a pain when you're doing long shoots with multiple units. I mean, you'll almost certainly at some point find yourself having to plug them in to small USB battery packs, things like that, because you've either let them run out or you just forgot to charge them. You can't just swap the battery out at the last minute for a spare one whenever needed. But that being said, the battery does last for roughly 10 hours or so, so as long as you remember to charge them, you should be good for pretty much any shoot you do without having to worry too much. So I think we would all agree the Track-E is very simple. It has much fewer physical controls than something like the Zoom F2, for example. And this simplicity is mostly a good thing because of how decent the app is. But the build quality does actually feel nowhere near as good as the Zoom, despite costing significantly more. It does feel quite plasticky overall, especially the switch on the side. For the most part though, it is this simple on the unit itself because you're going to be almost exclusively controlling it with their app, and that works really well. It's clearly laid out, fast to use, easy to control multiple units at once, and you can format the card and change the recording formats really fast and easily. There's even one button to start and stop recording on all connected Track-Es at once, so they've clearly designed this app from the ground up to be used with multiple units. Now, is this a perfect little recorder? Definitely not. But there is a reason that this is our best-selling 32-bit audio recorder right now. It's just so easy to use in a timecode workflow. And if you want to use multiple recorders and multiple cameras, that will make a huge difference to your work, and choosing the Tentacle Sync Track-E is an easy decision to make. So if you want to buy one of these for yourself, head over to proav.co.uk, and of course just let us know what you think of the Track-E down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.